seconder for that motion? If there's a seconder for that motion, Councillor Russell, you second that? You want to hear the logic? Okay.
Well, I think we give lip service to the rural people, that we support them and recognize them as being our largest source of income in the municipality. But when push comes to shove and they're trying to build or do something, we'll take the extra $100 from them as opposed to the residents. And I think that it just needs to be fair. And so let's give them. If we have decreases, so a consistent decrease across the board of $50 for all these fees, and I think that's reasonable, and it shows our respect for the rural people.
Councillor Underwood.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the clerk. Going up $100, would that, if it was $50, would that still cover the cost of the inspector and permit? Versus, you know, I mean, a 600 square meter tank, does it cost that much more? If you go up to 1,500 square meters, is it going to be that much more time for the permit and for the inspector at that point?
Probably not. We try to make it.
We have to substantiate the cost.
Right.
The rationale with 350 went up by 50, 700 went up by 100.
I understand. If it's a set rate like per hour, just because it goes up more, maybe you get yourself into a little slot of doing that.
There's issues, either one make up the cost.
$50.
Okay, I'm going to, if there's no more questions, I'm going to call for a motion on the amendment. Vote on the amendment. Those in favor of the amendment? Those opposed? Motion's carried. Motion. Now we vote on the motion as amended. Motion is amended. All in favor? Carried. So we're at 7:10. So we have a motion into a public meeting for a zoning amendment for Grand Bend Community Health Center, 69 Main Street East. Moved by Councillor Scott, second by Councillor Cook. All in favor of that? Okay. Could I ask the planner to take us through this application?
The application before council tonight is Z005-2012, and it's been submitted by One Care Home and Community Support Services, and it affects the Grand Bend Area Community Health Center. And what the group is asking for, they currently run an adult daycare program for dementia patients, people with dementia, and what they would like to do is provide an overnight service for those patients also. Right now they want to start with accommodating 2. The problem with the zoning on the property is the health center is allowed under the clinic definition, and the clinic definition specifically does not include accommodation for inpatient care or operating. So what we're going to do is do a site specific to say, however, dementia patients can be accommodated overnight. It's a very simple amendment. It's certainly in keeping with the programs provided by the Grand Bend Area Community Health Center and an expansion of the programs for the people in that community. And certainly that's in keeping with the official plan and the zoning on the property and the intent of that facility in the first place. So I'm recommending council that we approve that request. I took the liberty of preparing the zoning bylaw since it was really a very, very simple zone amendment. So if council is in favor of the request, they certainly could pass the zoning, the actual amending bylaw tonight.
Question? You can't make a motion in public meeting. So, any member of the council have a question, or any member of the public here to speak to the Councillor Cook?
I guess just a question regarding the change in use would also require public consultation, or is this public consultation required to make this happen?
Yeah.
This is it, right?
Yep. Notice given on this.
I might need to be there in a couple of years.
Any member of the public here to speak to the zone change at the Community Health Center in Grand Bend? Seeing none, council, no more questions. I would ask motion to close the public meeting. Councillor Underwood, Councillor Scott. carried. Counselor Scott, do you want to make the motion for the recommendation? Second by Counselor McGuire. All in favor of that? Carried. Thank you. 7:20. 7:20 is Robert and Pamela Carbonell. We have a letter here for a water bill issue. Would you like to come up to the table? I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your last name correctly.
That's perfectly fine. I want to thank you for allowing us to come here and talk about this matter that we have. We own a property on Lazy Lane, which we classify as our cottage. We get there probably every other weekend. I'm sure you have a copy of our correspondence. As stated in our correspondence, we'd like to address and bring to conclusion the first and second large water bill received at our residence since June of 2011. Though we are in agreement with the current policy in dealing with abnormal water usage, we agree in principle with the council's continued practice of charging and for supplying safe drinking water to the community. In June 2011, we received a very large water bill, which was larger than our previous 2 years, of 107 cubic meters. We never contended this because we thought, perhaps there was a leaky tap, a leaky toilet, there was no water in our basement, no water damage anywhere. So we took those precautions, changed the taps, changed everything. And in March, we got a really big surprise. We got a phone call to say that there were 769 cubic meters used at our cottage. It's our opinion as the homeowners and a part of this community that this is undoubtedly a false reading, as we are only there twice a month. Stated in our correspondence, we never use that amount of water that we are being charged for, and we think it's fairly impossible, given our length of stay at the cottage, which is 1 to 2 nights per month, and the size of the water line, which is a 3/4 of an inch running to our home, that this is nearly impossible to use all that water. Stated in the aforementioned letter, we were told that 760 meters cubed had gone through our water meter. I think if that was possible, our cottage would flow down the Saco River, or our neighbors would notice some water coming out of our windows at our cottage. We appreciate the staff and management for helping us when we did get the phone call. Janet Ferguson was a great help. Nick Verhoeven was a great help. My husband took the afternoon off of work to come to our cottage to make sure our cottage wasn't flooded. Our neighbor, Pete Peters, takes very good care in watching our cottage on a weekly basis to make sure that there's no broken windows. We have been broken into a few times, so the neighbors are really great help. My husband drove from London, took the afternoon off, went in our basement, no water. Nothing was dripping, no water damage. And it was interesting that 3 days had gone by, they went back and checked the meter, and the meter number was still the same. So if there was a massive leak, as indicated, that water meter probably would have changed numbers. Now, we agree that the current policy, which when faced with a common issue in billing, that they ask the customer to provide proof in a $240 meter test. It is our belief that our situation is extremely exceptional and therefore not a common issue in utility billing. In our instance, where the quarterly water usage is 81 times higher than our average in the previous 2 years, a separate approach to reduce the anxiety of myself, my husband, should be taken to residents who own a cottage like we did. That said, asking us for another $240 to test the meter when we can't even understand why the water is being used like that seemed a little bit unrealistic. Because we live in London, if there's a problem with our water, they will come out and test the meter. It's the first thing they do. They'll obviously look at our history, and our history at that cottage was extremely low. Therefore, in closing, we ask that council will consider 3